So I'm finally getting around to testing this garbage picked washing machine out. And so I think I figured out why it was thrown away. Set it back up to the spin cycle. It's not turning, but I can hear the motor spinning. So we'll go ahead and shut the water off. So I've got it tipped upside down. It looks like the belt is still attached. But it looks like this is this whole unit here is probably going to have to come out. Shouldn't be too hard though. So I've got the unit on its side here on this coupler or pulley, or basically it joins the motor to the transmission. Here's the pump. My first guess was that this thing was broken. It could still possibly be, well, the coupler could still possibly be broken, as it is plastic. And if you guys can see this, the shaft is actually notched. So it could be that this coupler is stripped out just enough to when this thing kicks into high gear, it doesn't really do anything when it goes to the spin cycle. I don't think that's the case, because when it goes into the spin cycle, nothing moves at all. We're not seeing any of that, so I think it's something a little bit more complex than that. So I think what we're going to have to do is go ahead and remove the pump. There's 2 of these clips. It's going to be a pain in the ass to get to the other one probably, but they just kind of come right off. They're kind of up like that, so you need to pull the arm off like that with a screwdriver or something, which you'll have to do. And I should have flipped this over to the other side. I've already got some of the parts removed from the agitator, but you'll have to rotate this if this is the style that you have. And there's 2 little nubs that go here and here at the bottom, so I'm gonna have to get a screwdriver and kind of poke them out of there, pull this thing back, and then get the proper size socket and extension on that bolt. So all you need to remove this is a screwdriver. I've already got the one done on the other side, so just go ahead and pop her on out of there. Kind of hard to do this with one hand. There you go. So it looks like bolt in there. But we'll go ahead and remove that and then pull this agitator out. At least it smells good with all this dried up soap that's inside it. And so it's a 7/16 bolt. Go ahead and get this done really quick. So I actually had to reach in there with my left hand, grab one of those fins, and then use the ratchet in order to break this bolt. Not literally break it, but it's not the easiest to deal with. I think it's almost all the way out. If not, yep, we're good. I'll just set this aside. Put this stuff back in it so we don't lose it. And I think this should come right off, and it does. And then it looks like we have some sort of retainer clip here. Pull that off this thing right here in order to get that shaft out of there. And so one pair of pliers, which I didn't even really need, removes that retainer clip, and this thing, which slides back on like that. So now we are done here. So on the back end, we'll go ahead and remove these clips. That one's moved out of the way. And these just kind of rotate just like that. So we'll throw that one up there, and I'll get on with the other one. It comes out the exact same way. I just have to put the camera down. So now with the pump moved and completely off, we'll just go ahead and move that out of the way for now. The next thing you're gonna have to disconnect is this clip here. So just very carefully kind of pull that back and pull it off like that. Again, should go without saying, unplug it please before you do this, anytime you're messing with electricity. So now we'll go ahead and remove all 3 of these bolts, and then we'll take the transmission out. So now we'll go ahead and pull the tranny out. This thing comes out as an entire unit, and you need both hands to do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this bolt and drop it, of course. Put this stuff over here for now, and we'll pull her on out. Don't forget to remove this. I forgot to remove it. It's just 2 clips on the end. You just push them in, it comes out, no big deal. And so with a little bit of heaving and hoeing, everything else here seems to be pretty good. But I'll show you guys how you diagnose a bad clutch on one of these. I can tell you guys just by looking at it that this thing is screwed up. But basically what you want to do is you should not be able to move these easily with your fingers. And as you guys can see, holding this cup, I've already done this off camera, but you can move this thing very easily. You can just push it right along. So that's the issue. Probably doesn't help that this thing has been coated with soap and grime and who knows what else. So we'll go ahead and pull this thing out and go from there. And in order to do that, just grab a pair of pliers, press it together with a pair of pliers, and take her right off. So there you have your clutch, and that's what we're going to have to replace. So I'm going to have to order the new one. We'll go ahead and replace the clutch and go from there. So I finally received the clutch kit. There's the part number for those of you who want to know. And it's a genuine factory part. Let's go ahead and open this up and get to working on this. So as you guys can see, we've got the old clutch right here. And we can kind of compare it to the new one. So with this ready to go ahead and pull your thrust washer off, noting which side it goes back on. And then you have this retainer clip here that you'll have to pull off. And so just use the side of the shaft as leverage and kind of pull it off. And it's off. Put that right there. And then we also have this other small clip, which they gave us a replacement for. Looks like this. As you can see, we just have to go ahead and remove that. So in order to remove this, it looks like you just have to pull this part back in and then kind of just thread it out all the way around it. Kind of like so. And we have it out. So we'll go ahead and pull her out. Right there. And just to make sure we have the correct part, looks like we do. So now this thing should just come right off. And there you have it. So now we have the new clutch. Everything's ready to go back on. So just grab your new isolator ring, slide it on in, and make sure all the tabs lock down. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand. So there you have it. I'll go ahead and throw her back on. And so with on and installed, grab your new retainer ring. The hole is right there. So we'll just throw it on like so. And so with both hands I was able to throw the retainer ring back in. So now just grab your retainer clip here, put it right back into the 2 notches that are in the shaft. And we're good. Grab your thrust washer, throw it back on, and now we're ready to reinstall it into the back. Now before we reinstall it, we'll go ahead and replace the cam. And in order to do that, you kind of have to do the same thing with the little C-clip there. Just remove it with a flat blade screwdriver, and the old one just pops off. You pop the new one in. So there's the C-clip. And as I said, just pull the old one off. Make sure you have the right part, and we do. Make sure these two dowel pins line up with both of these. And we're good. Now just to reinstall the C-clip. So now I'll do my best to get you guys a proper shot of me reinstalling the motor. Okay. So you just slide the shaft right back in. Now go ahead and move the pump a little more out of the way. And you'll have to swirl it around a little bit to get it to line up properly. But now we'll go ahead and thread our bolts back in. So we can at least hold it in place while we get everything else bolted back up. Grab our bottom bolt, thread that back in, and there you have it. So now when you go ahead and reinstall this pump back on, if you guys remember these two little clips, you want to install this back one first because it is a pain in the ass to get back on there if you already put this pump on. So we'll go ahead and do that. And so that was a pain in the ass, just like I said it would be, but it would be a lot worse if you had started this side. So I'll show you guys on this side what exactly you do. You just slide it back in place. And then make sure it locks down like that. There you go. So now we just have to reinstall these connectors. This black, what I'm assuming a ground wire, goes right over here. But we'll go ahead and install the big harness first. Make sure it's down and seated. And we'll grab our little black ground wire. Make sure that one's down and seated. So now we're pretty much done down here. Off camera, I went ahead and tightened all these bolts up. So they're all nice and tight now. I'm sure there's actually supposed to be some sort of torque on these, but I just used the standard, snug them up, and then put them down at least another quarter turn. And that's always worked for me if I've never known the torque. So now just to flip it back over and reinstall the agitator. So with the dryer on its normal side, go ahead and grab your plastic piece if your dryer has this. Make sure that little dowel pin goes straight down into there, that little hole, so it does just that. And then we'll grab our retainer clip here, slide that back down on and in place, and now we can reinstall the agitator. So here's the agitator. Go ahead and throw it on back down. There's splines on the inside of this thing, so you kind of want to line it back up with the shaft and then push her on down until it's nice and seated. Grab the top part of your agitator, throw him back on, and then we have this other part here. You want to make sure that these plastic dogs are all in one piece, and this one appears to be fine. Slide it back down, and we're looking good. So now just grab your 7/16, start threading that bolt back in. I love this tool that my buddy got me. And I'll have to use two hands again to get my other hand down here to stop this from rotating when I tighten it up. And so now that this is done, we can go ahead and put this other piece back on. So with this piece, you have these two little clip nubs here, and they go back in here, and then you're going to have to rotate it to lock it down into place. And then rotate it. So now grab your rocket looking thing, throw that back down in here, and just throw that back in place, and then this just screws back on. Don't worry, boys, I'm gonna wash this thing out before I even think about putting clothes in it. And there you have it. So now let's hook it up to the garden hose and the electrical and see if it works. Hose is connected. Go ahead and turn it on. Of course I need to replace this damn hose, but whatever. So now, large load, cold, 1 rinse. Move it over a little bit so I can get back through there. And I'll update you guys when we get this thing full enough with water so we can go to the spin cycle. I think the agitator just turned on. Yep. So what we'll go ahead and do now is, since it's got all this water in it, throw it in spin cycle. And it's definitely turning this time. So now it's just about done with the spin cycle. Still emptying all the water out of it. I just want to see if it starts to speed up or anything like that. But I seem to think, yeah, it's speeding up as the water is getting emptied out of it. Now it's speeding up a lot, now that there's no water in the bucket or drum. But I'm definitely happy with that. Rate, comment, subscribe. You guys all stay classy.